Jackie's not a mean girl. I think you need to really watch the show. And if you still come to that conclusion, you have fallen for Shauna Shipman's propaganda. You have. Hi everyone, my name is Caitlin. Welcome to my YouTube channel. You may know me from TikTok. I talk a lot about Yellowjackets, and YouTube's gonna be no different. I have a lot of fun things planned for this upcoming season, episode reactions, things like that. But today we are going to be doing a Yellowjackets characters tier ranking. And I'm gonna do every character that's pretty much ever been on the show, both the teen and adult timelines. I had done a ranking on my TikTok of just the teen characters, and I feel like I left out a lot of nuance because I didn't separate them from their adult versions. I left out like a lot of the adult side characters and also the extra jackets. So today we are going to rank them, and I think this should be fun. So I have our tier ranking set up. We have 7 tiers. At the very top is elite employees, so my favorite characters of the show. In the second tier, tears are being shed, and that alludes to both funny tears, like they're hilarious, or I would be very sad if they died. Then the third tier is just respect, you know? 4, sorry that happened to you, and that in question is the Yellowjackets. So sorry the Yellowjackets happened to you. The 5th tier, why do you do the things you do? You'll understand that once you see who I put there. 6th is hogging the minutes. I think that's self-explanatory. Like, you are taking away from some of my favorite characters. You have yet to prove your worth to me. And then at the very end is, I hope you pull the queen card. And these are characters that I just do not like. So we're gonna start with the teen timeline, and then the second part of the video will be the adult timeline. Okay, first off, starting off strong is teen Taissa. I really love Taissa as a character. She's one of my top 4. And I think if you do not like her, what's wrong with you? She's severely underappreciated in both timelines. She's hilarious, first off. In the teen timeline, she led the effort to try and get rescued. She is there for Shauna. She's our skeptic. She's the audience's kind of insert of like, is all the witchy woo stuff that Lottie's doing, is it real? So for that, I'm putting her in elite employees. And I guess I will start to rank them within their own categories, but we'll just see that when it comes. Speaking of Taissa, her second half, Teen Van. Again, I also really like Teen Van. I think her arc is really interesting. I think it's really cool how Liv Hewson has given themselves a job just by being a great actor. And, you know, Van was supposed to die multiple times and she's still alive. Teen Ty Van as a relationship, I'm gonna be very sad when they break up. Definitely her season 2 arc is really interesting, and how she doesn't really understand why she's still living, and she's still trying to figure out her own belief system with Lottie. And then she kind of takes that turn when they eat Javi, and she's like, I'm happy I'm alive. Like, it's like really compelling, at least to me. Teen Van is going in tears are being shed. She makes me very happy. Next up is Teen Misty. Oh, Teen Misty. Okay. Teen Misty. Teen Misty is an interesting one because she's done some very bad things, hasn't she? You could argue it's because she was bullied, like, when she was younger. But then Christina Ricci said that even if she had friends, like, she'd probably still be the same way. I am going to put Misty in why do you do the things you do? Because I think that's just a very accurate representation of, like, her character of, like, why did you destroy the black box? Well, I can answer that question because she felt wanted in that moment. Why did you try and drug Coach Ben? Why did you make Crystal fall off the cliff and proceed to pretend that you didn't know she was dead? And so, yes, she is a teenage girl, but she has done some things that I simply cannot forgive, and I can't make her any higher. Next up, Coach Ben. Immediately, I hope you pull the queen card. He's not making it through this season, and that's perfectly fine with me. And I know that there's some, like, Coach Ben defenders, and they're like, well, what is he supposed to do? He's outnumbered, and the girls are just going to, you know, hurt him anyways. Like, he can't do anything. He's a grown man. He can adapt. He can figure it out. I mean, mainly I'm upset with him that he provided no emotional support during Shauna's birth. And, like, I did not expect him to become an OBGYN in that moment. And Nat is, you know, grabbing him and begging him to help them and at least to do something. And he's like, no, sorry, gotta go hallucinate my boyfriend. Can't deal with this right now. He needs to die. He needs to pull the queen card because he's not really doing much for them anyways besides being food for them. Next up, we have Mari. Now, this might be controversial, but I'm putting her in respect. I acknowledge she's a bully. She's mean. But she's funny. She's funny as hell. And her diseased hoodie that has probably many pathogens on it. She knows who she is. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's a hater She's a cook making that belt soup, and she's just always stirring stuff up. And like, it would be unrealistic if there wasn't a mean girl in the woods, and like Mari just has to be it. And I support her. I do. And just because I'm hopeful, I do hope that she is Pig Girl just for the cultural significance of it. Okay, next up, teen Lottie Matthews. I genuinely don't think Lottie is vindictive in any way. I don't think she does things to harm people. I think she has good intent, and things just spiral out of control, and she kind of just has to roll along with it. And she's doing the best she can. She's teaching them breathing exercises. She's also schizophrenic. She doesn't have her pills. You know, she's trying her best. So for that reason, I'm putting her at elite employees. I love Lottie Matthews. I do. Next up, I have Cabin Guy. I'm just gonna put him at hogging the minute, only because like I know we haven't seen him a lot, but I don't really know what his deal is at the moment. This category is also kind of yet to prove your worth to me. And so, you know, maybe if we had the bonus episode with Jason Ritter, I could have a more educated opinion on him, but I don't. All right, next up I have Travis, teen Travis. I didn't put adult Travis on here because we don't really know much about him. I'm gonna put Travis at Sorry That Happened to You. He's not my favorite. He's not. I do think there's a lot of ways his story could go, and I think it could be interesting. And I think the idea of him being like the only teen guy in a group of girls out in the wilderness, like we've had to see him kind of adapt and like not be sexist and misogynist anymore. And then also obviously that kind of led to the whole Doom Coming like essay stuff, which is again, sorry that happened to you. And like, I feel like it was kind of brushed under the rug, unfortunately. And you know, they ate his brother. Sorry that happened to you. He didn't even want to go on the trip in the first place. He didn't like his father. So the whole situation, sorry that happened to you. He's not my favorite, but he's also, I don't think I hate him, but I just love all the girls more. Next up is Jen, and I'm gonna put her at hogging the minutes as well because we don't really know anything about her. She was in season 1, didn't really have any lines. Then she has a couple lines in season 2, and she's simply mean. Like if you go back and look at her lines, like she's just mean. So again, yet to prove your worth to me. And while we're on the subject, I'm gonna put Melissa also in hogging the minutes. And again, they don't have a lot of screen time. They don't. And they don't have a lot of lines, but yet to prove your worth to me. And I think Melissa's definitely going to get a bigger role in season 3. So I'm sure she'll go up in my ranking because they'll give her more to deal with. Okay, next up is Akilah. I love Akilah. I love her so much. She is going in Tears Are Being Shed because I know Girlie is not making it out alive. I know. As soon as they mention her nephew, as soon as they mention the SATs, she's not coming back home. But just picture this. This is Akilah's situation, right? She comes in as a replacement for Allie, who just got her leg broken by Taissa, right? And she's like from JV, doesn't really know any of the girls, and she gets into a plane crash, proves to be the real MVP of the wilderness because she knows how to identify plants and stuff, prevents them from getting poisoned. Then she stitches up Van's face from a wolf attack, like bare bones, working with nothing. And then she helps Shauna through labor. She's also really funny. Like she has some really funny, like I implore you to go look at the birth scene and also when Shauna's beating up Lottie, just look at Akilah's face. Like she makes a lot of funny faces. And then she has like that iconic line where she goes, "You were having sex?" And it's really funny. And I love her. And when she dies, I will be very upset and sad. But like, I know it's coming, you know? Laura Lee is next. I'm going to put her at a respect. I'm going to put her above Mari. Respect because I respect her faith. I respect her grind and wanting to get them rescued by flying the plane. She can belong to Sorry That Happened to You because, girl, sorry that your plane blew up. However, I do like her a little bit more than that. And she just didn't have a lot of screen time, like for me to really form a solid opinion. I think like if she had more screen time, she definitely would be in Tears Are Being Shed. But she made an impact for what she had. Okay, next up is Crystal. I'm putting her at Sorry That Happened to You because first off, her name's not even Crystal. It's Kristen, and nobody called her by her name. And second, she had a very reasonable reaction to hearing that Misty destroyed the black box. I would have done that too. I would have been like, you stay away from me. We can't be friends anymore. I think if she thought about it a little more, she would have been like, oh, my life is in danger. I should like play along. But like, she simply couldn't because like, that's some very surprising information hearing. So then she fell off a cliff. And where's her body? I don't know. So yeah, Sorry That Happened to You. And that in question is Misty Quigley. Next up is Jackie Taylor, immediate elite employee. Jackie Taylor is one of my favorite characters, I think ever. She only has one season, but you know, we see her as a ghost. And she haunts the narrative to the best of her ability. And she makes sure that Shauna Chipman knows not one day of peace because of what she did to her. I don't understand people who hate Jackie because I think reasonably if you got stuck in the wilderness, like I wouldn't want to do chores. And the thing is with the chores, is that they asked her to go fill the bucket and she did. And so I feel like she had more of a problem of like assuming positions for herself and like finding where she fit. But like if people told her what to do, she did it. Like she wasn't really begrudgingly like, oh, I have to go fill the water or whatever. And then also people call her a mean girl and I'm like, where do you get that from? She's popular, yeah, but like she shows Misty the utmost kindness when she does her makeup for Doomcoming. And how does Misty repay her? By ratting her out and saying that she didn't thank the wilderness for the bear meat. Ugh. Again, why do you do the things you do, Misty Quigley? Jackie's not a mean girl. I think you need to really watch the show. And if you still come to that conclusion, you have fallen for Shauna Shipman's propaganda. You have. Because a lot of what we see of Jackie is the other characters' perceptions of her and not who she really is. And I feel like she herself didn't really understand who she was either when she was alive. And I just feel really bad for her. Like, she definitely shouldn't have died. All very avoidable and horrible. And like, I don't think that she controlled Shauna's life. In the fight, she says, did I force you to live in my shadow, Shauna? And the answer is no, she didn't. And Shauna was very willing to play second fiddle to Jackie. And yes, they should have talked about their feelings. Yes, Shauna should have voiced everything, but like that's who Shauna is. She doesn't talk about her feelings and she kind of just bottles it up and lets it explode. So Jackie Taylor was a victim. Jackie Taylor has never done anything wrong, ever. Oh, speaking of, next up is Shauna Shipman. This might be controversial, but she's also one of my elite employees. She is up there too. I know I just spent like a couple minutes bashing her. No, it wasn't bashing. It was just like acknowledging how she is a teenager and has failed to regulate her emotions and really process them. But like, Shauna is so compelling as a character to me. And although she does horrible things, you know, she cheated with her best friend's boyfriend and caused her to sleep outside. I think you just got to remember that she's pregnant out there. I mean, obviously that was her fault, but like, I just can't help but feel sorry for her. I think a lot about that thing. It's like a TikTok sound that's like, I'm not a violent dog. I don't know why I bite or something like that. And it's like, I think that describes Shauna perfectly because she can't really control like what happens with her emotions, and it just comes out in a way that like, I don't know if she really intends for it to be horrible and mean, but it just happens. I love Shauna as well. Controversially, she might be my favorite character of the show, and that's, I'm going to talk about it a little bit with adult Shauna as well, but like narratively, she kind of is the main character of the show. Next up, we have Javi Martinez, putting him in Sorry That Happened to You. He's very innocent. I don't think he wanted to be on the trip either. He's a middle schooler, by the way. He's like 12 or 13 years old, and he's out in the wilderness with these girls that he doesn't know because they're his dad's soccer team. Javi just wanted to make little wooden animals. And then he got stuck somewhere after Doomcoming. Then he came back, couldn't speak. And then what happened to him? He fell in a lake because he wanted to try and save Natalie. And the wilderness chose. Don't get me started on that. But yeah, sorry that happened to you, Javi. I'm sorry. All right, next up, Team Nat. She is going in Tears Are Being Shed. And it's solely because of Sophie Thatcher's performance as Natalie. Amazing actress. I don't know. I think she does a really great job of kind of establishing how broken Natalie is, even when the plane crashed. And now that she has to assume this new role as leader, I can't imagine what she's going to be going through. And the girls are going to make it very difficult for her. Now we're up to the adult timeline. And here we have the adult versions of all the characters and then some fun little side characters. First up, we have Sammy. I'm putting Sammy in Sorry That Happened to You. It's just sorry that Thaisa Turner's her mother. Where is Sammy at the moment? I would hope he's with some grandparents or a trusted guardian. And I know some people think he's creepy, and like, he kind of is, because he has visions and stuff, and he's very ominous as a child. But I hope we see him again. Next up is adult Shauna, again, elite employee immediately. Shauna Shipman is a liar, a cheater, an assaulter, an adulterer. Well, that's the same thing as cheater. A bad mother, arguably, but I can't help but love her. Like I said before, she is kind of like narratively the main character, even though this is an ensemble show. Like a lot of the plot lines go through her character specifically. So they do give her a lot more to work with narratively, but I think she's just really compelling and complex as a character, especially with adult Shauna. Every time I see her do something, I'm just like, that's literally the 17-year-old girl that got stuck in the wilderness, pregnant, and is responsible for her best friend's death. And so I can't help but feel sorry for her every time. I'm not saying I excuse her wrongs, but I definitely sympathize for her. Okay, next up I have Allie, and I put Allie and Randy here just because why not? And I think they're hilarious. I'm gonna put them, I mean, they don't really have a lot of screen time. I just wanted to include them. I'm gonna put Allie at Why Do You Do the Things You Do? Only because, like, it's kind of like teetering on Sorry That Happened to You, because like, yeah, sorry, Thaisa broke your leg in practice because you were a bad soccer player. However, I think it's really funny that she has kind of taken on the Yellowjackets tragedy as her own. And so for that reason, I think she's just like, why do you do the things you do when you were not on that plane? Okay, next up I have Biscuit, and Biscuit also belongs in Sorry That Happened to You. He was just a dog. He ended up being the price Taissa had to pay to become state senator and win the election. And then she just replaced him like that. Next up I have Jessica Roberts. And I'm going to put her at Sorry That Happened to You as well, because she was just hired by Taissa to make sure the Yellowjackets wouldn't blab. And then she got kidnapped by Misty Quigley and killed by her. Well, technically by cigarettes. Smoking's bad for you kids, but she was just trying to do her job. And then she got kidnapped. That's fun. Okay, speaking of Misty, adult Misty, I'm putting her at Respect. Here's kind of where like the differences of teen and adult versions come in. Like arguably does adult Misty do a lot of the same things that teen Misty does? Kind of. But for some reason I can excuse, and I actually find it a lot more funny when adult Misty does it. And that's exactly it. I think she's hilarious. And so that's why I respect her. I respect her grind and her commitment and her citizen detective game. She is who the Yellowjackets call when they're in a pinch. Okay, next up, Callie Sadecki. I'm gonna put her at Respect as well. I really like Callie. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. She's just an angsty teenager. I mean, like, aren't we all kind of like her in some way? And I mean, if you found out that your mother killed people in the wilderness and that your father was blackmailing her because of it, I think you would have some difficulties deciding where your allegiances lie. I think it is funny that not only is Shauna Shipman haunted by the ghost of Jackie Taylor, but then the universe sent her a mini Jackie in the form of her daughter. And I just love Shauna and Callie's dynamic. Oh, Randy. I was supposed to, I feel like I should have done Randy with Allie. I'm putting Randy at Why Do You Do the Things You Do as well, just because he's like the comedic relief as well, like with Jeff, but like he's just funnier. And like, even when he's not on screen, like the characters are always just like throwing him under the bus for something stupid he did when he was a kid. I think he's funny, but then also like he helped Jeff blackmail the girls. So again, why do you do the things you do? Next up is Adult Nat. I'm gonna put Adult Nat at Respect. Okay, personally, I don't love Juliette Lewis's portrayal of Natalie, so I don't really have much to say, but I do respect her character and kind of like what she's been through. Time to amend something. Adult Misty, I'm promoting you to Tears Are Being Shed because she's funny. I just forgot that I was supposed to put her there. Okay, next up is Lisa. She's going in Why Do You Do the Things You Do. I'm mainly just basing this off of her involvement in Nat's death in the season 2 finale and how she kind of just walked up to, again, this was not her business. This was none of her business. She walks up to the adults doing their hunt with a rifle and Misty's sizing her up. Natalie's like, no, I need to save you, yada, yada, yada. And then what happens? Misty stabs Natalie instead. And where does Lisa go? She just runs off, scot-free. So why did you do that, Lisa? Okay, next up is Paul. Paul is going in Hogging the Minutes. When I first watched season 2, I was like, why are we seeing so much of Ben and his boyfriend, Paul? I don't really understand. Like, he's just wasting my time. And like on the rewatch, I do realize the importance of that storyline. However, you're still hogging the minutes. You're hogging the minutes. Kevin Tan. Kevin Tan is going in Sorry That Happened to You. Because I think I liked Kevin. I did. You know, minus a couple points because he's a cop. He should not have been the one to die in the season 2 finale. So yeah, sorry that happened to you. Sorry that you got involved with the Yellowjackets again. Shouldn't have happened. Next up is Simone. Oh my God. Simone also goes in Sorry That Happened to You. You notice a pattern here. And that's why that in question is the Yellowjackets. I think Simone and Ty's relationship was kind of doomed from the start because Ty even admits to Shauna that like Simone doesn't make her feel it, but it's because it's safe and comfortable that she is with her. I think Simone loves Taissa, so sorry that you got involved with her in the marriage. And look where that got her. She's in a coma in the hospital. Will she ever wake up? Who knows? All right, speaking of Ty, elite employee, Taissa Turner. I really like her as a character. I think she's hilarious, especially adult Ty. I practice land use, not murder cleanup. Like, she has some really banger lines. And then there's other Ty as well. So there's a lot to look at with her character and with who she has dynamics with. Next up is Adult Van. I am going to put Adult Van in Tears Are Being Shed. When I was doing my season 2 rewatch, when Adult Van came on screen and like when I saw her, like I was just very happy. I was just smiling with joy. What is there not to love? Like, she's a cinephile lesbian. I was going to be there from the start, you know? Walter, played by Elijah Wood. He is hogging the minutes. He has yet to prove his worth to me. I don't really know what his deal is. And so right now I can't really say much. I don't know if I trust him yet. I'm going to be real. And right now he's kind of only attached to Misty, but he kind of got involved in the bigger picture there. So maybe we'll see more in season 3. All right, next up is Adam. He's going into Sorry That Happened to You because he was just some guy that Shauna had an affair with. And look where that got him. Dismembered and buried in Hacklebarney State Park. So I do feel bad for him. And I don't think, like, I mean, he knew he was messing with a married woman. So, like, obviously bad, but he's fine. Sorry that happened to you. All right, next up is Adult Lottie. She is going in my elite employees as well. I think Adult Lottie was a great addition to season 2. Simone Kessel does a great job portraying her. I mean, Lottie doesn't really know what's real. We don't know what's real. I mean, kind of what I just said about her as a teen, that like she doesn't really intend for bad things to happen and they kind of just do. And she's trying her best. I think she genuinely believed that she was helping people with her intentional community, and whether she was or not, I'm not sure. The Yellowjackets did her dirty by getting her committed again. Was she a little crazy for suggesting the hunt and the Russian roulette? Yeah. Yes, she was. Okay. Oh, we have 2 men left. Detective Sarkusa, mustache cop, as I like to call him. I hope you pull the queen card. Just like icky vibes. He was flirting with Callie, who was a minor, a high schooler. Very illegal. Very icky, and I think he should have been the one to die instead of Kevin. Lastly, we have Jeff Sadecki. Jeff, I'm putting in Why Do You Do the Things You Do? I think he is best when he's comedic relief, and I do appreciate that he does love Shauna through and through. Now remember, they did get together because Jeff was cheating on Jackie with Shauna, but you know, he was willing to take the fall, but then also he did start the blackmail, so this was all his fault to begin with. I like to say, just be a better businessman, Jeff. Then maybe your furniture store wouldn't be going out of business. So mainly, like, why do you do the things you do? Why did you blackmail your wife's teammates? I think he might be kicking the bucket this season too, so that might be an interesting thing playing out. Okay, so here is my tier ranking. This is what I got. I'm gonna move things around and I'll be right back. Okay, I just moved like a couple things around. You can have access to this tier ranking in the description. I'll link it. I hope you enjoyed this video and you got a closer look into what I think about the show and the characters in it. I mean, honestly, there are pretty much no bad characters, I would say. A couple of the men are on thin ice, you know? I think they're all really compelling, and the show is very refreshing in the way that we see not only these teenage girls go through something really traumatic, but then we see how this traumatic event has impacted them in their middle age. And we don't really get to see that, and I really like that. And they're all very complex and multifaceted, and I cannot wait for season 3 and how these rankings may or may not change. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.